Habakkuk 1. The prophecy that Habakkuk the prophet saw. How long, O Hashem, will I cry out and you not hear me? How long will I cry out to you regarding injustice and you not save? Why do you allow me to see iniquity and you look at evil deeds with robbery and injustice before me, while the one who carries strife and contention still remains? That is why the Torah is weakened and justice never emerges, since the wicked surround the righteous. Therefore, justice emerges distorted. Look among the nations and observe, and be utterly astounded. For God is bringing about an occurrence in your days that you will not believe when it is related. For behold, I am establishing the Chaldeans, that bitter and impetuous nation that will go across the breadth of the earth to possess dwelling places that are not its own. It is awesome and terrifying. Its judgment and its burden go forth from it. Its horses are swifter than leopards and fiercer than wolves of the evening, and its horsemen are fleet. Its horsemen will come from afar. They will fly like an eagle hastening to eat. It comes entirely for plunder. The eagerness of their faces is like the east wind, and it will gather captives like the sand. He scoffs at kings, and officers are his sport. He laughs at every stronghold, heaping up the earth and capturing it. Then a spirit will come and pass over him, and he will incur guilt by saying that his God gave him strength. Are you not from the beginning of time, O Hashem, my God, my Holy One? Let us not die. O Hashem, you have ordained him for judgment, and you, O Rock, you have established him to chasten us. Your eyes are too pure to see the evil and cannot look upon wrongdoing. Why then do you look upon betrayers? Why do you remain silent when a wicked man swallows up one more righteous than he? You have made man like the helpless fish of the sea, like creeping things without a ruler. He brings them all up with a fishhook. He catches them in his net, and he gathers them in his trawl. Therefore, he rejoices and exults. Therefore, he sacrifices to his net and burns incense to his trawl. For through them his portion is fat, and his food is plentiful. Shall he therefore empty his net to slay nations continuously without compassion? Habakkuk 2. I will stand upon my watch and take my place at the siege, and I will wait to see what he will speak to me and what I can answer my reproof. And Hashem answered me and said, Write the vision and clarify it upon tablets, so that a reader may read it swiftly. For there is yet another vision about the appointed time. It will speak of the end, and it will not deceive. Though it may tarry, await it, for it will surely come. It will not delay. Behold, his soul is defiant. It is unsettled in him. But the righteous person shall live through his faith. The man of wine also acts treacherously. He is an arrogant man and does not stay at home. He has widened his soul like the grave, and like death, he is not satisfied. He gathered unto himself all the nations and assembled unto himself all the peoples. Shall all of these not take up a parable about him and a metaphor and riddles regarding him? One will say, Woe to him who amasses that which is not his. How long can he go on? He burdens himself heavily with thick mud. Will those who would bite you not rise up suddenly? And will those who would cause you to tremble not awaken? You will be plunder for them, because you have pillaged many nations. All the remnants of the nations will pillage you. For the blood of the men that you spilt, and the robbery of the land, the city, and all its inhabitants. Woe to him who gains evil profit for his house, so that he may set his nest up high to be rescued from the grasp of evil. You have counseled shame for your house by cutting off many peoples, and you have sinned against your soul. For a stone will cry out from the wall, and a sliver will answer it from the beams. Woe to him who builds a city with bloodshed and establishes a city with iniquity. Behold, it is not from Hashem, master of legions, that the peoples will toil for the fire. and the nations will weary themselves for nothingness. For the earth will be filled with knowledge of Hashem's glory, as the waters cover the seabed. Woe to him who gives his fellow to drink. You gather your anger and intoxicate them, so that you may look upon their nakedness. You are sated more with shame than with glory. You too will drink and become confounded. The cup of Hashem's right hand is turned upon you, and the vomit of shame will cover your glory. For the robbery of Lebanon will inundate you, and the plunder done by your animals will destroy you. Because of the blood of men that you spilled, and the robbery of the land, the city and all its inhabitants. Of what avail is the graven image that its maker has carved, the molten image or the teacher of falsehood, that its maker should place his trust in it to make mute idols? Woe to him who says to wood, "Wake up," and to silent stone, "Arise." Will it teach? Behold, it is coated with gold and silver, and there is no spirit within it. But Hashem is in his holy sanctuary. Let all the world be silent before him. Habakkuk 3. A prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet, for erroneous utterances. O Hashem, I have heard your news of impending exile. I was afraid. O Hashem, in the midst of the years, keep your accomplishment alive. In the midst of the years, make it known. In wrath, remember to be merciful. God came from the south, the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His glory covered the heavens. His praise filled the earth. A glow was like the light of day. Rays of light came from his hand to Israel, and there his hidden strength was revealed. Pestilence went forth as he advanced, and fire went forth at his feet. He stood and measured out the land. He looked and dispersed nations. Everlasting mountains were smashed. Eternal hills were laid low. For the ways of the world are his. Because of our iniquity, I saw the tents of Cushan. The curtains of the land of Midian trembled. Was Hashem angry with the rivers? Was your wrath with the rivers, or your fury against the sea? Rather, you rode upon your horses. Your chariots were our salvation. Your bow bared itself, the oaths to the tribes, an enduring word. You split open the earth with rivers. Mountains saw you and shuddered. A stream of water flowed. The depths raised its voice, and the heights of heaven raised their hands. The sun and the moon stood still in their abodes. Israel would travel by the light of your arrows, by the lightning flash of your spear. In fury you trod the earth. In anger you trampled nations. You went forth to save your people, to save your anointed one. You crushed the head of the house of the wicked, laying bare from the foundation to the neck. Selah. With his own staffs you pierced the head of the outspread troops, who came storming to scatter me. Their joy came when they could devour a poor man in secret. You trampled them in the sea with your steed-like clouds, with mountains of abundant water. I heard, and my innards shuddered. My lips quivered at the report. Rot came into my bones, and I shuddered in my place, because the time I should have rested will become a day of distress, for a people to come up with its troops. For the fig tree blossoms not. There is no fruit on the grapevines. The labor of the olive trees has failed, and the fields do not yield food. The sheep are cut off from the fold, and no cattle are in the stall. But as for me, in Hashem will I rejoice. I will exult in the God of my salvation. Hashem Elohim is the Lord my strength. He makes my legs as swift as harts, and he leads me upon my high places. To the conductor, for accompaniment with my songs.